Chef Alan. We can't hear you very well, or is it my mind?
Hello, Shanaz.
Hello.
John from Worldchefs.
Hi, John. John, I will get you into the room shortly.
No problem. No
I
problem.
will introduce you and get you into the room shortly.
Can you turn up the volume for us, please?
Okay. So I hand over to you, Joanne, for a few minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, we can see Andy needs a bit of a rest because he's getting brighter every time we see him. I mean, I'm stopping at the hotel this evening, so I'll just be able to look in the sky and see the shine from the top of his head to have a directional signal. You know, but it's very much a wonderful job those guys are down doing there. The judges, the marshals, and all the competitors. It's not easy cooking in a garden when it's 30, 40 degrees out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, this is day one. They still have another day to go. So hopefully a lot of aloe vera this afternoon. But what we're going to be moving on to in a couple of minutes, Alan, which is, this is our third year as Expo Culinaire. And of course, we have our education founding partners, ICCA Dubai, Emirates Academy of Hospitality Management, CIC in Sharjah. We also work with Dubai Tourism now as well, and without forgetting Richmond Master Baker. But for the first time this year, we're actually going to receive a contribution from Worldchefs, which is great. I mean, our event is of course supported by Worldchefs, and in 2022, we have the World Chef Congress coming. And I mean, that last happened thanks to COVID.
Well, was in Malaysia.
Yeah.
It was programmed to go on in 2020 in St. Petersburg in Russia. But we all know what happened. And very much like us this week, they had to do a virtual event.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that Abu Dhabi is going to be, quite frankly, the first chance that the international chefs community will really be able to get together.
Which is going to be amazing. It's going to be in the UAE. And similarly, part of the Congress and part of the Expo Culinaire will be education. So we'll certainly be encouraging the World Chef program in addition to the program given by the schools in the UAE. So it's a different type of experience, I think, the World Chef programs. And of course, their offices, they're based in Europe, aren't they?
Based in Paris.
Yep, yep.
For each part of the world, we have a continental director,
Right.
but the main office is based in Paris.
Okay, so continental director.
Joanne and I,
Yes.
are all ready to come in. Should I put them into the room with you?
With pleasure. If they're ready, let's bring in the World Chefs.
So ta-da, and here is John Clancy. John, you can unmute your mic now, not a problem. And then
Hello.
John, welcome.
and now we have Ragnar, Chef Ragnar.
Hi, everyone. Lovely to see you.
Chef Ragnar, good to see you.
And
Brilliant.
there goes, and there we have Dora with us.
Hi, Dora.
Hello, everyone. Hiya.
You can start talking, all of you, and when Andy's ready and
Andy will join when the time is
Excellent.
right. So perhaps really already, I mean, we were starting to talk about the wonderful network of World Chefs, and it's absolutely fantastic. We're delighted to have you as part of Expo Culinaire, where we've been building education for 3 years. But we do feel that by World Chefs program injecting into it, it's going to be a different aspect. Education is a strength of World Chefs, isn't it?
Yes, thank you, Joanna. And I've been watching you all morning. It's a really like a big celebration. And yeah, as you said, with the ICCA, with the Emirates, with you, we've been working together. And this is just a little taste of what we're going to see at the Congress next year. So can't wait. And I hope you're all excited like we are. And thank you. So I want to just, if we can just jump right into it. I don't know if Andy is taking a shower. I see he's been walking around really hot there, huh? I actually envy him a bit. I'm in cold Paris, but we can dive right into it, Joanne.
He'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Yeah.
You let me know.
But please start, as you wish, chat.
Okay, thank you.
We just want to hear more about it.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't just hear you there, Joanne. Please say again. We're ready.
I said, so Andy will be joining you in a couple of minutes, but for now, if the three of you could just explain a bit about the program and about what we can expect to see today.
Okay, allow me to make a little introduction, and then we will bring it over to John and Dora and Andy when he comes in. And I want to thank all the listeners out there for joining us. I mean, Worldchef is very proud to present this session called Future Proof Your Skills. And if you're a chef working in hospitality or any person in hospitality, you might want to listen in carefully. Also, if you're an employer or a manager in hospitality, then this is very much relevant to you. So let's dive in, as we said, and while we're waiting for Andy to come along. About 10 months ago, we had a global online discussion where Worldchef hosted a discussion on skills back in May 2020. And like you said, we all know what happened then. At the time, we asked leading employers whether skills is still mattered within hospitality, given the light of the turbulent time that the sector was going through right then. And well, the answer was yes, firmly yes. But at the time, there was a lot of uncertainties, and we didn't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Many months have gone by now, and now we see with vaccination is being rolled out across the world at different speed, I'm afraid to say. But we wanted to revisit the same question, and this time to focus on the recovery of the industry and the role that skills are expected to play during this recovery. So it's really within this, this context that we'll be talking to and asking our guest speaker, our guru, Andy Cuthbert, if he's coming online soon, to share his perspective as an employer on the impact of the pandemic has had on jobs and skills 1 year on, and what individuals can do or should do to be able to keep their jobs and compete for new jobs as we move forward. So we're also here joined by Dora Timar, who is Senior Manager of Recognitions and Frameworks at City and Guilds, a very close partner to Worldchefs. And of course, our own mascot is our John Clancy, who is Worldchefs Education Director. And well, they will help us sort of unpack this point, unpack the Easter present from Worldchefs, if I can put it like that, and share their insights on how Worldchefs and City and Guilds, two leading global organizations on the skill space, we are supporting the industry. So, so welcome to you all. Welcome, John. Welcome, Dora. Okay. Do I say welcome, Andy? Is Andy with us?
Here.
Oh, good man.
I am here.
There you are, City. I've seen you walking.
We've got an echo. Hang on, we've got a mute. Hang on.
We got a little echo.
We're muted. First thing we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is sing in the national language of choice, happy birthday to the Viking. It's the Viking's birthday. So, John, you can go first in Gaelic, and then Dora and I will do English. But happy birthday, Ragnar.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got my mask on, as you can see. I've got my red head on. Woo, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Viking. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh, bravo, John Clancy. I mean, what a superstar, honestly. Sitting there, he could be U3 or U2 in a previous life.
Are you as well?
It's the perfect birthday because
Good to see you guys. All right, I'll sit down now. I'm exhausted, Ragnar. Look at the top of my head. I mean, Jesus wept. Anyway.
Morning and really wanted to be there with
Amazing.
you. Thank you for this birthday present. It's an almost perfect birthday. The only thing to make it better is it was there with you.
Yeah.
World Chef family, it's almost like a second family. So I'm really happy to celebrate this day with you guys. And Andy, thank you so much for jumping back on the call. I see you're really busy, and I mean, everybody really knows you in the region. You are the head of the Emirates Guild and so much more. But if anybody is joining us right now, Andy, can I ask you just to make a little introduction to yourself and a few words about your different roles in the industry, in your region, in the world, as an employer as well?
No, yeah, I mean, I've been extremely lucky, Ragnar. I've been out here at the Emirates Culinary Guild since 1992. I arrived in Dubai in 92. I came from the UK. I'm originally from Australia, from Melbourne, where I trained as a cook in small restaurants in the hotel. And then I'm sorry, I meant to look at the camera. I'm looking at myself, but anyway, no, don't do that, mate. I can't see Mr. Ragnar. So I want to see the lovely Viking on his birthday. So I've been very lucky to travel the world as a cook, and then I landed up in Dubai in 1992 as sous chef with the Hilton, and then I've stayed out here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates since then. And after I arrived here, I sort of got involved with the Chefs Association at the Emirates Culinary Guild. I've been the chairman since 1996, the chairman of the guild, and then I was lucky enough to work with a team that put on the Worldchefs Congress. So the World Association of Chefs Congress back in 2008 in Dubai sort of was the catalyst for me to get more involved in Worldchefs as a global organization. And with our old friend, Dr. Billy Gallagher, who asked me to get involved with the Young Chef Development Team. So I was heading up as chairman the Young Chef Development Team. And then I got roped in by that troublemaker from America, Charles Carroll, to be the Congress chairman. So myself and Ragnar and John, we had a great time over in Thessaloniki in 2016. And then that other troublemaker from Germany, the president, Mr. Thomas Gugler, decided that I wasn't busy enough. So he said, okay, you can be the continental director of Africa and Middle East. And at that stage, I said, hang on a minute, there's too much to do. So I handed over the reins of the Young Chefs Development Team to Alan Oriel, who's now up at Disney in Shanghai. And in my spare time, I run a hotel.
Right.
So I do. I'm the general manager for Jumeirah, which is Jumeirah is a 5-star luxury brand based out here in the UAE, and we have hotels throughout the world. And I head up the hotel at Jumeirah Creekside, where we're broadcasting from today. And I'm the general manager of the hotel, and I also look after the event business for conference and events down at Madinat Jumeirah. And then when I got a little bit of extra time, I go and look after a little nightclub called Zero Gravity. So all you young guys and girls that are on the call, Google Zero Gravity, and it's a fun place to go to spend my spare time. And other than that, I go to sleep every now and again, Ragnar. Hang on, I've got to plug myself back in. I've dropped my ears. So that's me in a nutshell, Ragnar.
Well, wonderful, Andy, and thank you for sharing that, because I just wanted to make a point of the wealth of experience that you bring into this discussion. And I know that 1 year back, I mean, you had to lay off a lot of people, and especially all around Dubai and the Emirates, there was a lot of laying off people, and so you can share all that experience. But now, as we start to reopen, Andy, and at a different rate around the world, but Dubai is opening up, and if you had to pick one thing, what would you say is going to be the main focus for employers in the hospitality sector as the world starts reopening again? What is your focus as a manager of a hotel, as an employer?
It's been a crazy year. I mean, who would think that we're still here in April 2021? Now I've got echo again. Is that okay? I don't know what's going on. Hang on, I'll put this back in my ear.
Stefani, when
We're in
one
a garden, so it's all good. Yeah, who would have thought that we were going to still be in this challenging times in April 2021? And so, yes, there was a lot of commotion all around the world. The hospitality industry, like many industries, just pretty much crumbled overnight. But we have been lucky in the United Arab Emirates to be able to slowly open up, very controlled, very particular on the things we do. But we have great leadership that has been able to put in place throughout the country over the last 13, 14 months, a good plan to make the reopening a success and also safe. So as an employer, what we're looking for is to bring in skills, re-employ skills, make sure that we get the right people back as and when we need them. We can't just say, okay, bring 1,000, bring 500, because it's still a little bit of a slow procedure just to make sure that we are ready. And when we bring the people back, we've got the work for them to do. So a strong focus is going to be bringing the right talent in, looking at the people that we have with us still that are waiting to come back, making sure we engage with them again, but making a solid plan to make sure that we can have that continuous employment moving forward, especially with such uncertainty. I mean, you guys in Europe know much more about this than me, of what's happened in the last 4 to 5 weeks and even in the last 5 days, when we saw Italy, for example, going into a quick lockdown for 3 days. So that is something that we will be cautious about as employers, to make sure that we have the continuity of employment for the people we bring back.
So you have all that pressure of the profitability, making the business run still, and now also the recruitment side and on the skills. And so how can you balance that? How can you balance that need to drive the profitability and still deliver on the customer experience, and still remain skills and talent within the company?
I think it's important to make sure that we deliver the levels of service. You know, a lot of restrictions were put in place, and a lot of things were removed that we would normally do. You know, I was chatting to someone a couple of months ago, and they were talking about the hygiene protocols and the cleaning. I said, well, we didn't just start cleaning hotels 6 months ago. We've always cleaned our hotels. We've always run our hotels at a very high standard. So I think the levels of service will need to be a key focus, then to be able to bring the talent in to deliver that level of service again as well. But we need to remain agile as leadership to make sure that we can manage the expectations of the traveller, because we want to make sure we have a good peace of mind. When people do stay in our hotels, they want to see people wearing masks. Yeah, we're very particular about wearing our masks in the UAE. We have a set of protocols that we have to follow. I was very lucky to be able to host, as the hotel, the Dubai duty-free tennis tournament, where we went into a bubble situation. So there's learning at managerial level that has to be considered as well. And the managers need to be able to train their colleagues when they come back, train new colleagues that are coming into the business as well that may not have worked with us before. And that's going to be a big focus as well. So it's a combination of things, Ragnar.
And I see, Andy. So I mean, for you, it's really that focus on bringing that quality service, the skills, recruiting the right skills for the right job. I guess that also means when you're recruiting, the chefs will need to be able to show their skills and to upskill themselves during this period. Have you seen that?
As part of the Emirates Culinary Guild, we've been doing that for the last 12, 14 months, where we've been looking at how we can help chefs that might be at home. How can we do an online version of our competitions? But there's also been encouragement through some of the certification programs that we have in Worldchefs, and coupled with Dora and City and Guilds, I've made sure that in my hotel we've pushed the chefs, but we've also pushed the other departments into the certification program that we run as a joint venture together with Worldchefs and City and Guilds. The skill set for chefs is still going to be the same as before COVID. Before COVID, post-COVID, chefs are going to have to know how to cook. They're going to have to be able to adapt to a few new hygiene standards. You know, wearing masks and gloves, sanitizing continuously is already in place. But then how to adapt to a changing clientele to make sure that they're happy and they've got that peace of mind, that's something we're going to have to teach the chefs. So continuous skills training and looking at a strong skill base before we employ people is still going to be a big focus.
And you raised a really important point there, and you mentioned the global hospitality certification. If I can just like turn my question to John for a minute here, is that something that you see, John, as a part of your work with Worldchefs? Are chefs looking to get their skills and experience recognized? Is that on the top of their mind?
Absolutely. And, you know, just picking up on a point that Andy made there, just in relation to COVID, one of the things we're seeing quite a lot now coming through in applications is where chefs are now undertaking, you know, specific training in COVID and hygiene training programs, which as you say, that's another, it's a new development, and it's something now that I'm sure like employers like Andy will be looking at, you know, will be looking for chefs to have. But absolutely, we definitely have seen in the last year, who would have thought, I mean, honestly, who would have thought that this time, you know, in March, whatever, last year, 2020, you know, we were just all happily trundling along, you know, and then all of a sudden the whole world gets hit with this virus. But you know, I think with the use of technology and also with our own webinars, I mean, the webinars that we've launched ourselves through Worldchefs have been absolutely amazing, and Dora will attest to this as well. Like, we've had huge reaction. And just to give an example, right, in this month alone, Worldchefs will have awarded 165 badges in 1 month alone. You know, now, okay, that's a combination of schools and individuals. You know, in our system, we have 60 chefs, 60 executive chefs going through application on our Worldchef certification website. And I'm just talking about culinary. Dora can talk about hospitality. So yes, the answer to your question, Ragnar, is yes. And I think it's what chefs are doing. They're using their time. They're taking the advantage to do that. And another point that Andy made, which I think is very, very important, we're seeing, even in my former school where I used to work, we're now seeing where we developed programs where chefs can actually, part-time chefs are working in the industry that obviously are furloughed, so they're using their time. Chefs are not, you know, I think by our nature, we have to be doing things. We can't be just sitting around, you know, so why not use the time? Think about it. Every time, you know, make an opportunity of a crisis, you know, and use it to go back and educate yourself, certify yourself. That's the whole opportunity. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, thank you, John. And so to you, Dora, I mean, you've been listening to Andy, and we are sort of focusing on a part of the world that is a nice how to say, a workshop for us. It's a nice sample of you know, but taking that on a global perspective, Dora, you at the City and Guilds, where everything is about setting standards and certifying skills. Do you see the same globally?
We do, and then I think just for the viewers, and then just to explain or put City and Guild into context, you know, our bread and butter is around defining standards and certifying standards, and of course the work that we do with Worldchefs and through Worldchefs with Andy, Jumeria, and many other employers is around helping individuals get a confirmation or a certification of the skills and the experience that they have. And it's interesting how before COVID-19 the focus has been around trying to raise awareness around career opportunities in hospitality. So many employers, including Andy and his peers, would have said, look, we need to tell people that there is a career within hospitality. You know, it's not just about being a waiter or being a housekeeper. And at that time, it was a matter of trying to find enough people because there was so much demand for hospitality workers that, you know, we almost didn't have enough people. Now the world has changed for a short term because the jobs, you know, went dormant because the hospitality industry went into a near lockdown. But as the world is reopening, and Andy has already pointed out, employers will be looking to rehire. And what we are seeing, those who are looking at the future, they are thinking, if I want to keep my job or get a new job, I actually need to be able to show what I can do. And that's where the certification, and as John has mentioned, if they've got a bit more time, it's really an ideal time for them to say, how can I show what I can do, what I did during or before COVID-19, because I want to be at the, at the forefront. I want to be at the top of the list that employers like Andy will be looking to see. I want you because you are a good talent.
Yeah,
I think that's a, sorry, Ragnar, I think that's a great point, Dora. If you've been sitting on your hands versus doing a certification, doing something online to better yourself, and if you've been lucky enough to be furloughed, because that's a condition that only a few countries can support, not like what we have here. But I'd be looking at the guy that's actually been busy getting ready to come back stronger, and not just waiting for someone, oh, poor me. And I think that's important for the young people and the viewers who is watching, is what have you done with the 6 months, 10 months, 12 months that you've been at home? Have you caught up on Game of Thrones, or have you actually done something to better yourself? And that would be a trigger for me to say, hang on, let's have a look at this person again.
And Andy, to that point, it's what we have also done for the short term, just to enable those who are not lucky enough even to be furloughed, is that there is a provision within the certification, the global certification, that if they lost their job because of COVID-19, there is a way in which they can still make an application, as long as they show that they have kept their skills up to date and they stayed in touch with the industry. So again, just to your point, Andy, I think we can't stress enough the importance of somebody being able to show independently where they are within the broader skills framework.
So now we've sort of stressed the importance of upskilling and keeping yourself engaged. And I promised in the beginning for our audience that we will unpack some presents. Actually, no, Dora, what I'm saying is that if the people listening to us now, can they do concrete wise? How can global certification help those who are listening to us right now? And so maybe, if you want to share that screen of yours and sort of get a better idea, what is global hospitality certification?
There we go.
Yeah, are you able to? I'm hoping that I'm sharing my screen, but I'm just double clicking. Yes, you can see. So just in a nutshell, it's really a framework that allows us to recognize skills and experience gained within the industry while somebody is working. So it's not a training program. It's not about having to get from A to B. This is looking at the entire industry. So what we can see on the screen are the key job roles within culinary, food and beverage, front of house, housekeeping, and where those job roles are, and what kind of skills individuals would need to display to be able to gain these digital badges. So the blue badges are the culinary ones, which of course is the focus of the conversation today. So it's starting from commis chef, chef de partie, sous chef, working their way up all the way to master chef, master pastry chef, including culinary educators. Then we've got the hospitality side, the grey and the golden badges. It's starting again from team member level, so looking at the waiters, receptionists, housekeepers, supervisors, managers, all the way up to the level that Andy is representing. So it's looking at the GMs and looking at even the cluster managers. So, those who are managing clusters of hotels. Yeah. And I think the key point were two things. One is that the framework is accessible to individuals. So I think we've got, I'll come on to in a moment, there's a link individuals can use. It's very easy. It's worldchefs.org/global certification, where they can have a look at what sits behind the badges, and they can make an application once they have confirmed and they have identified that they are working at the right level. And of course, we are also able to work with employers, and Andy is a great example. So Jumeirah is already engaged in the process where the framework itself can be mapped into an in-house training or performance management system. So I guess if we've got your viewers listening around the world, and I'll come on to John for his comments as well in a moment, but it's really for them to have a look at the badges. They can look at the requirements, and then they can decide which would be the right level for them to apply for.
I'd like to, just before, maybe it would be interesting to get some thoughts from Andy as an employer, as a hotel manager, and who has already been studying our global certification. Andy, what are your thoughts in general about the global certification, and why is that important for the industry, for employers or individuals to engage with?
Got me hat on. Put me new hat on. Getting too hot, that Ragnar. Getting too old for this. Certification. I think what we've done together, where we established a great path through the culinary side, and let that now blend over to multiple departments and multiple disciplines. And I was very happy to pilot that with Dora and City and Guilds, because for me it gave, in our part of the world, another tool for us as employers to give to our colleagues, to give them something that they can be proud of and to work towards. And we make quite a bit of a big deal when the people do graduate through the different levels, and whether it be the front office, the housekeeping, and the chefs, of course. So this badging system not only helps them get a leg up, get another touch of recognition on their CV, but what I can do as an employer is I can drill down a little bit into their CV when I see that badge, and I say, hang on a minute, what's this guy done? What's this girl done? Oh, that's interesting, you know. So they've proven their skill set already, because it's a great benchmark. And as Dora would explain, you know, the way it works, it's about matching and making sure City and Guilds and my standards together, not, you know, one up here and one up here and one down here. And that's important as well. And it just gives you that extra confidence as an employer that you're making the right choice. You've been able to identify something that those people have done extra, and that badging electronically attached to their CV that comes through to us through our hiring, recruiting departments. It's just another bonus for the future employee.
And so you use this tool as both for recruitment and also for internal development of your skills. So maybe John, so tell us, let's discuss how global certification can also help and encourage and facilitate career progression of chefs.
Well, and just to Andy's point and to Dora's point as well, one of the things that I've noticed, and it's quite a how would I say, it's quite a satisfying thing to see that where chefs are making applications, they're really putting a huge amount of effort into displaying their information, you know, putting together a really fantastic portfolio of their skills, their expertise. And, you know, you get this lovely feeling from them that, you know, that's a great sense of achievement on their part. Like, we're seeing chefs coming from all sectors, you know, cruise liners, hotels, restaurants, you name it. They're coming from everywhere, which is absolutely fantastic. So that just tells you that, you know, the broad attraction that the certification has for chefs, Ragnar. You know, that it's not just, you know, and I suppose if I go back to the very start when we looked at the whole notion of certification, of how we wanted to give recognition, international recognition for chefs. You know, lots of other trades and lots of other, you know, occupations have a form of recognition. So we said, well, why can't we do it for chefs? Why can't we do it for all the people who work in hospitality? And I think that's what this is about as well. It's about that, giving them that sense of achievement. And I can tell you, the pride that they have, like as soon as these chefs receive their certification, it's up on Facebook, it's up on social media, it's everywhere. Like, that will tell you the pride that they have in it, that it has a value. It has a value, and it goes back to Andy's point. You know, that's what it's about. It's about giving them, you know, that it has a sense of worth. It's an achievement.
And Ragnar, if I could just add one more thought to John's comment, I think The other key value, apart from the pride and the recognition it gives, is that the whole framework has been built with employers.
Yes.
So it's not a framework that Worldchefs or City and Guilds designed sitting in a dark room. From day one, we went out, and Andy will be the example, because he was the very first person I called up, when we had the idea to say, Andy, look, we are looking to do this. We would like to talk to many employers around the world, including a number of global brands, including Jumeirah. So it's been built based on what's happening within the industry. It's been built by what employers are looking for, and it continues to evolve. And I think that's probably the other really important point, apart from what John said. So on one hand, it's recognition. On the other hand, it's being able to show that their skills are relevant in a secure, verifiable, and digital way.
It also gives strength on the CV when you see that badge, because of the link across to City and Guilds. You know that it's verified, and it's been looked at, and you can trust what that badge says. It says it does what it says on the box.
And that's a very good point, Andy, because the whole, and Dora, we're behind this 100%. The quality assurance aspect of this is very important, because we have there are certain strengths to it. Witness testimony is one. People say, well, how can we prove it? The witness testimony is there. It's a very, very rigorous process, that we use, and we can stand over it 100%. And not one, in all the years since we started, 2012, Dora, I think was it? We started. We have had not one person complaining, not one person contesting any of our decisions. So that stands for itself.
And you can vouch for that, John. You have been also an assessor, and so you know that user journey of an individual who would like to apply. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that as an individual, how you can then engage with the global certification. It's a recognition of skills. I'll let you talk.
It is a recognition of skills, and I think, I suppose if you go back to, like, as I said before, it's about, and because there are different levels. Like, let me just give an example of, say, the Culinary Educator badge. We have huge interest now in the Culinary Educator badge. We've got something like, what have we got? I'll tell you now exactly what we have. We have 20 culinary educators currently applying for certification from Worldchefs. Right now, yeah. So that's going to tell you the interest already, even from the culinary educator point of view. Like, aligned with that, you also have the schools. So, think about it, schools that would be proud to have teachers who have been globally certified by Worldchefs as a culinary educator.
And so people come online and they will then apply.
So what they do is, beg your pardon. So what they do is they come online, and the most important thing is that when they come to the website first, they look at the level that they want to apply for. There is a handbook. It's very important that they read that handbook, because we put a lot of detail into the handbook. We also have a very, very extensive FAQ system there as well, which answers all questions. So Dora, if you wanted to just open up the any of them, say culinary educator.
John, I'm just, as you are talking, I'm just showing literally, right. We can look at, I just clicked on the executive chef.
Perfect, absolutely. So there's perfect. So you click on them, if you look at more information. So what you have here is, this is the handbook here. So the handbook is broken into different sections. It's in 3 colors. It's very, very well set out. It's very easy to read, very easy to understand. All the requirements are there, all what people are asked for. Yes, we will obviously get some questions from some people, and that's totally understandable, because when people are visiting this for the first time, it's bound to be a little bit, maybe or confusing or whatever, but people need to just take their time, read it and digest it and go back to it. It's a constant reference all the time. So once they've read that, then they can then go and they can either download the badge. Here you can download.
John, I'm also just pointing out, just sorry for interrupting, because before they even look at the specific badges, we've got an introductory guide.
Yes.
So it really just introduces people to what the whole process is.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that they read. It's only 10 pages, but it gives them a view as to what it is. And as you mentioned, John, we also have got the FAQs here.
Yeah.
So before they make a commitment and before they say, I want to apply, we just would like them to take their time to make sure they understand what they are signing up.
Absolutely. We don't want people applying for, the highest level and they're not at that level. The most important thing is, whatever level they're applying for, they must be currently employed at that level.
Yeah,
That's a very, very important point.
Skills they already have, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So any individual can autonomous.
And by the way, you don't have to be a member of a chef association. You can be an individual. All the better. I mean, I'd love to see. I'm sure the chef associations, would love to see their members applying. But I mean, we get a lot of people with members in and out. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so it's open to everybody.
There's another way, and Dora came. She came on that point. Is if there are anybody in our audience, a manager in a leadership position or an employer directly, then there is also another process for them to use this as a tool, as Andy mentioned, to develop and recruit skills.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got what we call the corporate route that's available to employers who have got a defined, structured performance management system in place. So we've got a number of those going through the approval process. And the same for schools, because we mentioned that schools are the hotbed of talent being developed. So we are able to work with schools who have got a program up and running. We've got schools like Kaiping, who are the first school in the world to transfer across to the new framework. So we would welcome any. I mean, you've got the your website address, your contact details behind you, so anyone can get in touch through Worldchefs, and then we'll come back to them and explain the details.
And also ICCA as well in Dubai. We're partnered with ICCA as well.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, ICCA in Dubai. I mean, they're part of our recognized school.
That's right. It's a culinary school.
Fast track,
yeah. And on the employment side as well. So we have experts who go into the either the employer.
Absolutely. So we've got industry experts. Right. Industry experts who work with. So imagine that we go in, we assign a person to an employer, and we look at the processes that they have in place. So it's not about them having to implement a new process. It's about looking at what exists, looking at what they consider to be a good quality benchmark for their job roles, performance management, and then we bring it together and align it to the framework.
And for the employer, actually, apart from, as Andy said, he uses as a benchmark for recruitment and skills development, but also the badging offers this great opportunity. It's a marketing tool where you are issuing a branded badge with your corporate name, and this will then be out in social media, and we can track and trace the use and share and impressions through.
Yeah, so we'll be actually making a further improvement on that, Ragnar, because naturally, just before COVID-19, we were completing a pilot, and what we will be doing is creating a signposting page for all participating organizations. So that means that they will have an additional opportunity to showcase what they do, but also to attract talent specifically through the certifications. Again, a lot more details will be coming on that. And the final point, Ragnar, and that's something that Andy has already highlighted, it's the digital and the secure nature of the badges means that we will be making connections like Hosco. You've got a global network that employers are using to recruit, and the badges will be used as the currency, if you wish. So when an employer wants to know if somebody has got their skills on the CV certified, they will be able to see whether they also have got a corresponding badge.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you.
The other part I'd like to mention, sorry, Ragnar, that for us to be able to deliver this to our colleagues, our employees over in our part of the world is very important, because many of our guys come without formal training. And unlike John or myself, who went through a formal apprenticeship, 4 years through whether it was a City and Guilds in the UK or another, it was TAFE in Australia for me. Sorry, Dora. But I was talking to Bern Uber earlier today, about the level of skills that are being taught now. And for us, we employ young people from all over the world and from some of the not so developed countries where they haven't had the opportunity that we've had to study 3 or 4 years or 2 years in a course. And so for us to be able to have our own internal trainings, verified and certified and the quality insurance, as you said, John, that is also important for us, because we know that we're able to train our guys, and our guys know that their skills are going to be transferable to the next employer as well. And for me, it's very important that it's to give them the opportunity to get proper training.
But I think also there's another point as well, that it's also, you know, it would also improve retention as well, staff retention, because staff would stay. You know, if you're going to invest in staff, invest in their training, they'll stay there because they see a value for what you're doing, what you're offering them.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Great point, and Andy, making skills visible, and is what you're saying, and it's really what we are striving to do. So thank you for bringing that point at the end. So I think the key takeaways is for anybody listening out there is, if interested, this is all on the website worldchefs.org /global certification, and you apply online, and if you have any questions, we also do have an email address, certification@worldchefs.org, and we'll be glad to answer any questions or concerns that anybody might have. And I think with that, we're looking forward to welcome your application and see you and Worldchefs events around the globe in the future.
And just before that, just Ragnar, if I might, just people can, chefs can actually go and visit. They can view our past webinars on our website, and we also have another webinar coming up in later this month. It's for certified pastry chefs, so people can sign into that.
Absolutely. So they can follow on worldchefs.org, sign up to their free account, and follow what is happening in Worldchefs webinars and events. So before we leave, I want to thank you, my beautiful panelists. It's so great to have you. Unless there was anything else you wanted to add.
I'd just like to say that over here in the land of sand, we're actually in the middle of a hybrid culinary competition endorsed by Worldchefs. And I'm going to get my little camera lady. She's going to spin the camera around, and you'll see that set up in the gardens, we have 6 live kitchens. We have about 100 chefs. There you go. They've been cooking since 6:30 in the morning. We've got our judges from all over the world. We have Alan Hosted, the continental director from Europe Central. We have the president of the Egyptian chefs, Hossam Soliman. We have the president of the Qatar chefs, David Sosson, with us. And this celebration is hopefully the first competition in our region that then gets us back on track, because we've been away from live competitions for over 12, 14 months. There's been a few happening around the world. I know Alan Oriol and the Chinese chefs have been doing things, but I hope that to see this and to show this to our audience, it really does give hope that we're coming to the end of the tunnel. We hope that the certification and the skills that the chefs get by competing in such competitions is something that they enjoy to do, but it also helps them in their career. And then really to hone their skills in front of their peers in a competition scenario, it also gives the guys a great opportunity. So just thanks for letting me say that, Ragnar, and just to have a little show around of our garden.
And Andy, while you show around, if I can just say before I leave it back to you, so I want to say a big thank you to the ICCA school in Dubai.
Yes. Virtual clap.
Education partner and a great supporter of Worldchefs. So really, thank you. Thank you to Expoculinaire, organized by the Purple Kitchen, our friends Joanne Cook and her team. We look forward to work with you for our next year's edition, your next year's edition, which will be hosting the Worldchefs Congress and Expo in Abu Dhabi in 2022. And last but not least, Andy, thanks to you, a Worldchef member, the Emirates Guild, the amazing work you're doing, all of you, voluntarily, for all the chefs in the country, for the whole region. You're a guiding light of the whole region.
Getting sunburnt.
Getting sunburnt for us, you know, that's,
absolutely
you do it for a great cause, and I can't thank you enough for all your support.
Amazing.
Just to to our audience, don't forget to create your Worldchefs account, a free account. There's Sanjay. Very good to see you, my friend.
Sanjay and Shanaz down in the ICCA live hub.
Enjoying it.
And Andy, we feel really guilty because we are seeing your color changing within the last, I think, 40 minutes, you know. So it's, you know, we feel very guilty for sitting indoors.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Great. Beautiful day in the garden.
It'll
No,
get
just-
cooler now, Andy. It'll
We'll
get
be
much-
okay. Got me hat on.
Yeah, Shanas, just to want to say thank you to the audience and just a reminder, if they can open their free Worldchefs account on our website, worldchefs.org, to stay informed. We have about 100,000 jobs available there, and they can visit our certification website to apply and make sure that they're making their skills visible, and also to stay tuned for Worldchefs Congress Abu Dhabi in May 2022. This is where chefs meet, where friends meet, and until then, please stay safe. This is Worldchefs. Over to you, Dubai.
Happy
you.
birthday, Ragnar.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Dora.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you
to
so
see
much,
you all.
guys. Good to see
Thank you,
all.
Shanaz. Thanks, Angie.
Good to see you.
See you
Andy,
soon.